KBOI 2 News, first at 4.
There doesn't have to be bloodshed in our community.
An emotional sheriff in Eastern Oregon speaks to his community after members of an armed group were arrested and one was killed overnight. The FBI saying this afternoon the group occupying the National Wildlife Preserve has had several chances to leave.
The group's leader, Ammon Bundy, and others were arrested during that traffic stop last night, and Lavoy Finicum, a spokesman for the group, was shot dead as agents tried to make those arrests. That's according to the Bundy family. The FBI is now working to remove other people who are still occupying the Wildlife Refuge headquarters. Meanwhile, those arrested were in federal court this afternoon in Portland.
Now, the 8 people face felony charges of conspiring to prevent officers from doing their job through threats or intimidation. Jeff Platt is in Burns. He spoke with community members and he starts our team coverage.
And in speaking to those community members, it's very clear that the community is split pretty 50-50 of those who both despise and support the protesters at the refuge. But one thing is clear through all of them. They knew a boiling point was right around the corner.
Oh, absolutely. We saw it coming.
There are also those who didn't think the protesters occupying the refuge would ever lead to someone's death.
It should have ended peacefully, not with guns.
I spoke to many Burns residents off camera, all of them reluctant to speak about the situation at all. While they didn't tell me how they feel about the protesters at the refuge, nor how they felt about the traffic stop, shootout, and arrests from Tuesday evening, they did all agree the situation is ripping the small Oregon town apart.
It's kind of turned the town towards each other. I mean, half the town's for what's going on and half of them's not and stuff. I think the whole thing's a little ridiculous.
One woman told me families are being split into two. Mothers and sons aren't talking to each other, and lifelong friends have become enemies over a difference of opinion surrounding these protesters. Now, everyone I spoke to says they want this to end peacefully without anyone getting hurt. However, a lot of people are getting to the point where they don't care how, they just want this to end, saying it's affected their children, their schools, their community, and most of all, their personal lives. Reporting live in Burns, Oregon, Jeff Platt, KBOI 2 News.
At a news conference today in Burns, federal, state, and local authorities say the armed group occupying the National Wildlife Reserve had ample opportunity to leave peacefully.
But as Scott Logan reports, they aren't saying what led to the use of deadly force that last night claimed one man's life. Scott continues our team coverage.
Police are calling it a deliberate and measured response to the armed takeover of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Authorities say they tried to conduct a traffic stop safely away from local residents, but in the end, one protester was shot and killed by officers, an outcome the local sheriff says protesters could have avoided.
It didn't have to happen. We all make choices in life. Sometimes our choices go bad.
Authorities gave no details about what led to the shooting, nor would they say if the ranchers exchanged gunfire with them, and they wouldn't even release the name of the man who was killed. Some witnesses say the man, Robert Lavoy Finicum, charged at police. Others say he complied with orders. An emotional Sheriff Ward says there are better ways to work out grievances.
We have a responsibility as citizens to act on those in an appropriate manner. We don't arm up. We don't arm up and rebel.
We continue working towards resolution, and we'll do so with the primary goal of restoring normalcy to this community.
Scott Logan, KBOI 2 News.